Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the current Democratic frontrunner who will likely be running for president this fall against Donald J. Trump, none other than former Vice President Joe Biden. Biden has had many things to criticize him for throughout his campaign, mostly having to do with his declining health and his lacking of mental acuity. But in addition, previously many remarked and commented on the creepy way Joe would interact with people publicly, particularly women and children. Biden has been known to touch people inappropriately in awkward places, and for far too long for that matter. And also, he's been caught on video repeatedly sniffing people in very uncomfortable ways. But this was apparently just the tip of the iceberg, since now, of course, we've all heard about this new and very bad sexual assault allegation, right? Oh wait, we haven't heard about that much because the media isn't talking about it at all. And that's funny because when Republicans get accused, that's all the mainstream media will talk about for weeks. For example, when Trump was first running for president in 2016, he had all kinds of wild and ridiculous accusations thrown at him, and the liberal biased journalists out there all took plenty of time to cover each and every case, even though all of them were not credible and many were being perpetrated by other liberals trying to take down the would-be president. In addition, back in 2018, Trump nominated a new Supreme Court justice named Brett Kavanaugh, who also had to deal with his own accusers too, who also ended up being longtime liberal supporters and activists, doing this all for political reasons, of course. So now, when it's a perfect time to cross party lines and explore the accusations against a prominent Democrat for once, well, the liberals in mainstream media are of course deciding to instead ignore it. And worst of all, a prominent activist and actress and pro-Me Too believe all women promoter named Alyssa Milano, well, you'd think she would surely be interested in what Biden's accuser has to say. She is the one coming up with the whole listen and believe all women thing. But alas, no for her too. And that's not the case here, because apparently listen and believe women is only a thing when they are accusing Republicans, and in turn sexual assault and taking advantage of women, I guess that's okay when liberals do it. Now, before we get to the accuser Biden story and how Alyssa Milano suddenly flipped on Me Too, let's first take a moment to check out our sponsors at Virtual Shield. With everyone now working from home, VPN security is now a requirement. So with more and more hackers and identity thieves on the prowl out there, if you don't have a VPN yourself that's protecting your internet traffic, now's a great time to get one. And Virtual Shield has the easiest and fastest VPN on the market, and they're offering a free 30-day trial now too. So since it's free, why not give it a try today? Here, go ahead and let me show you how easy it is to protect yourself with a virtual private network like this. I'm going to go ahead and go to virtualshield.com or to their app or Google Play Store and download the Virtual Shield free 30-day trial, install it and click connect, and boom, once I'm connected, my IP address is now different than before, as you can see here. And due to this recent health scare going around the world today, Virtual Shield wants to extend a customer appreciation month to everyone here at No Bullshit, and they're offering you all 50% off all their VPN plans for as low as the price of one cup of coffee. So sign up for your free 30-day trial at Virtual Shield today and see what the hype is all about. And you'll also be helping support this channel in our time of need as well. Help me help you, and let's all help each other. And let's all have a great, safe, secure internet experience while surfing the web as usual. Thanks for your time today, and now back to the show. Great, now that that's out of the way, let's get back to today's story. This article has more details. It's called Alyssa Milano Explains Silence on Joe Biden's Sexual Assault Allegation, Says Men Deserve Due Process. Wow, funny how that works, huh? And so brazen and transparent of Milano to flip like this on a dime. It's almost like she thinks she can get away with it. Like we all don't know that this whole due process line only applies to liberals and people she likes. Because as we've seen before, if it's a Republican, due process gets thrown out the window. Liberals will happily believe the worst of their opponents, even if their beliefs aren't based in reality. Regardless, let's read on here anyway and see where this story goes. Alyssa Milano is defending her decision to stay silent in the wake of a recently surfaced allegation against former Vice President Joe Biden by former Senate staffer Tara Reid, who claims he sexually assaulted her in 1993. Milano, 47, spoke with radio host Andy Cohen on Monday during his SiriusXM broadcast, and when Cohen brought up the fact that once again Milano Milano had been a trending topic on Twitter, he gave the actress the floor to speak on the matter, and she did so, choosing her words gingerly. So it's actually quite a serious reason, I think. So I've endorsed Joe Biden, and there have been accusations against Joe about sexual assault. Milano began. I have not publicly said anything about this. Yeah, Alyssa, that's the whole problem here. You're basically the spokeswoman for Me Too Time's Up and the whole listen and believe women thing, and right now you have the perfect opportunity to listen, but you're not. Because the person being accused is someone you like. That's the definition of double standards right there. And it's a capital offense in the court of hypocrisy as well. In addition, this is why we created this series called It's Okay When Liberals Do It, because according to them, it is. They're hacky activists like Alyssa Milano. They will happily believe every lie and half-truth and exaggeration if it's convenient and will make their opposition look bad. Happened with Trump and then with Kavanaugh too, and others as well. Losers like Alyssa Milano are literally campaigning for their opponents to be fired and jailed and stripped of everything they have, all over shaky, often secondhand, unsubstantiated claims and evidence. But now look how the tables have turned so quickly. Instead of believing Biden's accuser, which should be a given after all the nonsense they've believed in the past, but no, Biden is a Democrat and he's protected, and all of a sudden due process is in order. That's a real rich way to turn this for them too. Very terrible, because that's what everyone said about who they were accusing before. But that's why you have to be clear. Democrats like Alyssa Milano, they don't want due process or fair treatment for everyone, just for the people they currently are in favor of at the time. But I, for one, would rather be actually fair and offer due process to everyone who's legal in the United States of America, even my opponents. And that's why I'm not actually weighing in on Biden's situation much yet. Until I know more details and we properly vet the situation, it's hard to say what's true or not yet. But that doesn't matter too much here today with this story, because the point is, liberals at large would have believed these accusations regardless, had they been levied at their opponents, like Trump. We have multiple instances that support this too. So for those same people to now ask for due process, which we called for before, well, that's really rich and super messed up. The charmed alum famously attended Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Capitol Hill in 2018, where Christine Blasey Ford testified that he assaulted her in the early 1980s. She said she has always taken a wait-and-see approach to these sensitive matters and that the predicament Biden has found himself in is no different. She explained to Cohen, "If you remember, it kind of took me a long time to publicly say anything about Harvey as well, because I believe that even though we should believe women and that is an important thing, and what that statement really means is like, for so long, the go-to has not to believe them, we have to sort of societally change that mindset to believing women. But that does not mean at the expense of not, giving men their due process and investigating situations and giving, it's got to be fair in both directions," Milano added. "Oh, give me a break, lady. We all know feminists like this are not advocating for anything close to fair or balanced. They pretend to be trying to make things even and fair and balanced, but that's not what their requests and actions show at all. Really, leftists like Alyssa Milano want women to get special treatment, and that's why they say listen and believe them and place them above everyone else. Then to make matters worse and even less fair, we also have the double standard and the fact that listen and believe doesn't apply if the person being accused is a liberal or friendly with left-wingers. This is why Milano, by her own admission, took her sweet damn time condemning Harvey W. That's because he was a lifelong Democrat and key Hollywood player who she was friendly with, worked with, and socialized with and everything. And now, years later, Harvey just recently was found guilty and sent to jail, so now Alyssa Milano can safely condemn him well after the fact and far too late to be relevant. And that's how long it would likely take for her to listen and believe Joe Biden's accuser too. She would wait for the trial to be completely done, desperately waiting as long as possible, hoping her troubled friend gets off or gets an out or something. But when the person accused is someone Alyssa doesn't like, she'll listen and believe and promote them right away. And even as this article just stated, Milano showed up to a Senate committee hearing and everything. Pretty hypocritical and damning, and rather embarrassing, and a shining example of why no one should be listening to this terrible kind of person. I mean, why was she even considered credible in politics and social activism anyway? And why would she be at some Senate committee meeting? She's not a politician. This chick is just some actor who played a witch on TV 20 years ago. She was barely famous when that show was on, and clearly has no right telling people what they should be doing in current year. Listen, Alyssa, you're a pretty face, nothing else, and there's nothing wrong with that either. You have good looks, but also your acting is subpar, and your takes and opinions and tweets are simply awful. And I'm sure about 75% of your fans and viewers don't really care about your politics and activism. And as for the rest of us, us. To put it frankly, we're just sick of you altogether. We're sick of all feminists and Hollywood types preaching to us, acting as if they're the moral authority of America when really you come from one of the most degenerate and depraved and corrupted parts of all time. Shame on you, and may God have mercy on your very flawed and forsaken soul. Right, Milano said. They're calling me hypocritical for, saying that I'm a fake feminist and all this stuff, that I'm still trying desperately to stand back and be sort of objective about this because I don't want this to, I sent the Me Too tweet over 2 years ago. I never thought it was going to be something that was going to destroy innocent men, right? Like, we don't want that to happen either, she concluded. So we have to find this balance in the Believe Women movement and also giving men their due process. And realizing that we're destroying lives if we publicly don't go through the right steps in order to find out if an accusation is credible or not. Well, it would have been nice if you showed this same kind of restraint before, lady. Funny how that works, huh? When it's Trump or Kavanaugh or any Republican or person Alyssa Milano doesn't like, then the party line is listen and believe and worry about the accuser's credibility and legitimacy later. Slander them now and then get the facts straight later on, because it won't matter by then. But now that it's a Democrat being accused and one who's running for president no less, Milano has clearly changed her tune. And worst of all, she acknowledges that these accusations and the campaigns she's championed behind them, they do ruin lives. And this to me is her admitting that she knew she was destroying lives all along. And that's why she was backing any and every accusation against conservatives. Yes, Alyssa Milano is clearly a fake wannabe activist who isn't actually in this for fairness or for protecting women either. Really, she just wants to manipulate the public with racy stories, and then by using her fame from television, she piggybacks on that popularity as a way to convince as many people as possible that Republicans are bad and evil. But in reality, it's the left and their operatives like Alyssa, they're the ones lying, feigning concern, and manipulating the system as a way to gain political power and capital for their vile liberal side. Finally, before we go, I want to wrap this Alyssa Milano side of the story up by turning to a now famous clip of one of her former co-stars bashing her. Here we see Rose McGowan, another actor from the Charmed TV series, during an interview. And here she shows her disdain for Alyssa Milano directly, someone she's known and worked with for years, by the way. Take a look.
Your former Charmed co-star, Alyssa Milano, gets a lot of credit for helping Me Too go viral.
So?
Are you proud of her?
I don't like her.
Why?
Because I think she's a lie.
Ouch. Harsh, but to the point, and probably right. And certainly something we could see for ourselves too. I mean, what's a bigger lie than pretending you care about women and fairness to then only not be for that when it's convenient for you? And we're not just talking about a normal Joe regular person here either, or even your run-of-the-mill feminist or actress. Alyssa Milano is a preachy wannabe poster child for this whole politically correct Me Too, Time's Up movement. So certainly that gives us the right to come down on her with more harsh and swift scrutiny, as hard as possible. We are doing that, and I have to say, it's refreshing to see Rose McGowan doing that now too. And as I said before, Rose and Alyssa worked together intimately for many years. 5 seasons of that Charm show to be exact, which works out to over 100 episodes they did together. So needless to say, Rose knows Milano, and it would clearly take a lot of bad blood to make a former colleague come out against another like this. So many years after the fact too. This to me shows just how bad Alyssa Milano really is, and how fake and untrustworthy she is too. As Rose just said, she's just one big fat lie.
Why?
Do you think I don't know these people? I'm not looking at this from the outside. I have a lot of experience. I know she's married to a CIA agent. Do the math.
Okay, I like where this is going already. For those who don't know, CAA is the Creative Artist Agency, and it's the biggest agency in Hollywood. They manage all the biggest talent in television, movies, entertainment, sports, you name it. And they've basically gotten so big too, they're virtually a monopoly in the agent game, who has also amassed a lot of power over the years because of this. This is what led to where Rose is going with this story and interview. A sort of pro-Hollywood cover-up kind of campaign is happening and being spearheaded by CAA, its agents, and their relatives, as a way to get them and their clients out of the doghouse here in light of all these recent abuse stories which are coming from people they represent.
Who's behind Time's Up? CAA. Where do they meet? CAA. Who needs good PR? CAA.
These are very powerful people you're talking about.
They are. So am I.
So the way I see this is, since Rose is a bit of an activist too, and a victim of the corrupt and sexualized Hollywood system as well, well, here she's calling out Alyssa Milano for being a fake wannabe, who's actually controlled opposition that's bought and paid for by the elite deviants who have been perpetuating this nonsense. Rose is actually the real deal activist, as far as I can tell, and she's also been around the block and knows many Hollywood players too, like Harvey and Alyssa Milano and people at CAA. Meanwhile, Alyssa Milano works for CAA, and she's married to one from there, and she's a fake shill who used this Me Too Time's Up stuff as a way to pretend her and her CA Hollywood Illuminati types actually care, when really they don't. It's just a propaganda press tour for them. And this all goes to show how fake Alyssa actually is. She is a lie, so it's no wonder she's letting someone like Joe Biden get off scot-free despite going after other people for similar accusations. What do you guys think? Have you heard anyone else talking about this Biden story and him being accused? Because I have yet to see it on TV or streaming, or in many YouTube videos for that matter. I wonder why. Because guilty or not, if this accusation was hurled at Trump or even one of his staff members, we certainly would never hear the end of it. Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button to help support this channel, and we'll see y'all next time.